What happens when a senator's wife is caught driving drunk and, in the middle of her court hearing, pulls out her cell phone to call her husband for help? This 45-year-old woman is about to find out that some phone calls can't save you. Some positions don't provide immunity, and some spouses choose integrity over protection. What makes this case unforgettable isn't just the DUI. It's what she hit, who she left hurt, and what her husband said when Judge Caprio put him on speakerphone for the entire courtroom to hear. It's a Wednesday afternoon in Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio reviews a case that has already captured public attention. Diana Crawford, wife of Rhode Island State Senator Michael Crawford, faces charges for driving under the influence causing property damage, leaving the scene, and failure to render aid. The incident happened 9 days ago at 19:47 p.m. in a Providence shopping center parking lot. Security footage tells the story in stark detail. Diana Crawford was driving her Mercedes SUV when she struck a parked 2015 Honda Accord, damaging the rear quarter panel, bumper, and trunk. The impact triggered the car's alarm and collision sensors. The Honda belonged to Robert Martinez, a 67-year-old Vietnam veteran inside a nearby pharmacy picking up medication for his wife, who is NS and is mobility impaired. Footage shows Diana stepping out unsteady, inspecting the damage, then returning to her vehicle and driving away, without leaving information, without calling the police, without checking if anyone was hurt. A witness recorded her license plate. Police traced her home 40 minutes later. Her blood alcohol at 10:32 p.m. registered 0.16, nearly twice the legal limit. When officers arrived, Diana's first words were, "Do you know who my husband is?" Her husband, Senator Michael Crawford, serves Rhode Island's Eastern District, a respected lawmaker known for criminal justice reform and bipartisan work. Now, 9 days later, Diana Crawford walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom, dressed in expensive attire, her expression confident, as if this is a minor inconvenience to be smoothed over. Beside her, attorney Thomas Whitmore from one of Providence's most politically connected law firms carries his briefcase like armor, radiating certainty that wealth and influence can erase consequences. Judge Caprio watches closely. Diana doesn't walk like someone facing serious criminal charges. She walks like a guest at a charity luncheon, expecting gratitude for her presence. The bailiff calls the case. Judge Caprio reviews the charges aloud. Driving under the influence causing property damage, leaving the scene, and failure to render aid. Diana's attorney immediately requests a sidebar, hinting at sensitive considerations due to her position in the community. Judge Caprio's response is firm and clear. "Mr. Whitmore, this is a public courtroom. All proceedings are on the record. If your client's actions cannot withstand public scrutiny, that is a problem with her actions." Whitmore adjusts his strategy. He acknowledges his client made a mistake, but stresses her clean record, her family's civic involvement, and Senator Crawford's legislative contributions benefiting countless constituents. Judge Caprio interrupts, his voice unwavering. "Mr. Whitmore, your client's husband's record is not evidence in this case. We are here to address what she did, not who she is married to. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now, because what happens next shows exactly what unfolds when someone tries to use political influence to escape accountability." Judge Caprio turns to Diana directly. "Do you understand the charges against you?" Diana nods, but her expression says she thinks this is just a formality. "Yes, Your Honor, but I feel some of this has been exaggerated." "Exaggerated?" Judge Caprio picks up the police report. "Mrs. Crawford, you struck a parked vehicle with a blood alcohol content of 0.14 and left the scene without leaving any information. These are facts, not exaggerations." Diana shifts uneasily. "The damage wasn't that serious, and I thought the parking lot was private property, so I didn't realize I needed to report it." Judge Caprio's expression hardens. "Mrs. Crawford, hit and run laws apply to all property, public or private. And whether the damage is serious isn't up to you." He signals the clerk to play the security camera footage. On the courtroom monitor, Diana's Mercedes strikes Robert Martinez's Honda. The impact is unmistakable. The alarm blares. Diana steps out, inspects the damage for nearly 30 seconds, then gets back in and drives away. The footage leaves no doubt. She caused significant damage and fled. Judge Caprio asks, "Do you recognize what's shown in the video?" "Yes, but I was in shock. I wasn't thinking clearly." "Mrs. Crawford, the video shows you standing there for half a minute. That's plenty of time to leave a note, to call the police, to do the right thing. Deanna has no reply. Judge Caprio reviews Robert Martinez's victim impact statement. He describes returning to his car to find it damaged, no note left behind. The first $1,000 insurance deductible is a heavy burden on his and his wife's fixed income. With his wife's wheelchair, accessible van in the shop, they rely on the Honda for medical appointments. The damage isn't just property. It's a serious hardship for an elderly couple already dealing with a progressive disability. Judge Caprio asks if Diana has reached out to apologize or offer compensation. Her attorney explains that legal counsel advised against direct contact. Caprio's voice sharpens. Legal strategy doesn't excuse moral obligation, Mr. Whitmore. Your client fled the scene and hasn't taken responsibility in 9 days. Diana finally speaks, her voice tense. Your Honor, I understand I made a mistake. My family is prepared to cover the damages. We just want to resolve this quietly and move forward. Quietly. Judge Caprio repeats. Mrs. Crawford, you want to resolve this quietly because your husband is a senator. But the Martinez family can't resolve their hardship quietly. They live with the consequences of your actions every day. Deanna's jaw tightens. For the first time, frustration replaces her usual air of inconvenience. Judge Caprio calls Officer Jennifer Santos, who responded to the scene and later arrested Diana. Officer Santos testifies about arriving at Diana's home, the smell of alcohol, and Diana's initial refusal to submit to a breathalyzer until warned of automatic license suspension. What was her demeanor during the arrest? Caprio asks. Dismissive. Your Honor. She repeatedly asked if we knew who her husband was. She said this was a waste of police resources and that we should focus on real crimes. Judge Caprio asks to hear the body camera audio. Diana's slurred, indignant voice fills the courtroom. Do you know who my husband is? He's a state senator. You're making a huge mistake. This will be taken care of. The courtroom falls silent. Judge Caprio fixes his gaze on Diana. Mrs. Crawford, that audio was recorded at 10:32 p.m., 45 minutes after you struck Mr. Martinez's vehicle and drove away. Instead of taking responsibility, you threatened police officers with your husband's position. Diana tries to explain. I was stressed. I said things I didn't mean. Judge Caprio's voice is firm and unyielding. You said exactly what you meant, Mrs. Crawford. You expected your husband's position to make your criminal behavior disappear. That's when Diana makes a catastrophic mistake. She pulls her cell phone from her purse. Right there in open court, she starts dialing. Mrs. Crawford, what are you doing? Caprio's voice cuts through the room like a blade. I'm calling my husband. He can explain this better than I can. The courtroom collectively holds its breath. Did she just try to call her husband in the middle of her hearing? Mrs. Crawford put that phone away immediately. Diana holds it to her ear. He's the one who deals with legal matters. He'll know what to say. Caprio's voice goes ice cold. Mrs. Crawford, you are standing in my courtroom facing criminal charges, and you just attempted to call your husband for help during proceedings. That is contempt of court. Diana finally lowers the phone, but the damage is done. She just revealed in front of everyone that she believed her husband's position could override the law. Judge Caprio makes a decision that will become legendary in Rhode Island legal history. Bailiff, retrieve Mrs. Crawford's phone. Mrs. Crawford, you called your husband. You're about to get what you wanted. We're going to speak to Senator Crawford right now? Deanna's face goes pale. This isn't what she expected. The clerk contacts Senator Crawford's office. Within minutes, the line connects. Judge Caprio puts the call on speakerphone for the entire courtroom. Senator Crawford, this is Judge Frank Caprio in Providence Municipal Court. Your wife is here for a DUI hearing and just attempted to call you during proceedings. I'm putting you on speaker so we can address this publicly. There's a pause. Then Senator Crawford's voice fills the room, steady, measured, heavy with emotion. Your Honor, I apologize for my wife's behavior. She had no right to call me during court. Diana tries to interrupt, but Caprio raises his hand. I need to say something for the record. The senator continues. I've known about the charges since her arrest. I've advised her to take full responsibility, apologize to Mr. Martinez and accept whatever consequences the court finds appropriate. Diana's eyes widen. This is not the rescue she expected. Senator Crawford, Judge Caprio asks, are you requesting leniency for your wife because of your position? The answer leaves Diana physically staggered. No, Your Honor. I'm asking you to treat her as you would any other defendant. Her actions were wrong. The fact that she is married to a state senator, does not excuse drunk driving, property damage, or leaving an elderly veteran to deal with the consequences alone. Diana whispers urgently, "What are you doing?" Senator Crawford hears her. "Deanna, I told you to take responsibility. You chose not to listen. I've spent my career working on criminal justice reform, accountability, and equal application of the law. I cannot advocate for those principles publicly and then ask for exemptions privately." Judge Caprio asks, "Senator, is there anything else you wish to say to this court?" The senator's voice grows even more serious. "Yes, Your Honor. Robert Martinez is a Vietnam War veteran. My father served in Vietnam. The fact that my wife struck Mr. Martinez's car and drove away, leaving him to deal with the damage alone, is deeply shameful. Mr. Martinez served this country. He deserves respect, not hit and run treatment from someone who then threatens police with her husband's political influence." The courtroom falls completely silent. Diana is crying now, but it's fear and panic, not genuine remorse. "Your Honor, whatever sentence you determine is appropriate. You have my full support." The senator continues. "My wife needs to learn that her last named grant her immunity from consequences. If this were any other defendant, I'd expect full accountability. I expect the same for her." Judge Caprio thanks the senator and the call ends. Diana stands alone at the defendant's table, completely exposed. The rescue she expected has become public accountability. "Mrs. Crawford," Judge Caprio says, calm but firm, "your husband, the man you tried to call in the middle of court, just told me to treat you like any other defendant. Let's do exactly that." He methodically reviews the evidence. Security footage shows her striking Mr. Martinez's vehicle. Body camera audio proves she threatened officers with her husband's position. Her blood alcohol content proves she was significantly intoxicated, and her attempt to call her husband in court proves she still believes political connections can erase accountability. The sentence Caprio delivers is thorough. For driving under the influence of $1,000 fine, mandatory alcohol education program, and 1-year license suspension. For leaving the scene of an accident, an additional $500 fine and 80 hours of community service at a veteran support organization. For failure to render aid in contempt of court for attempting to use her phone during proceedings, an additional $750 in fines. Total monetary penalties $250. But Caprio isn't finished. He orders Diana to pay full restitution to Robert Martinez for vehicle repairs, $4,300 according to insurance estimates, plus his $100,000 deductible. Total restitution $5,300. She must also write formal letters of apology to Mr. Martinez and Officer Santos, both reviewed by the court before delivery. And perhaps most importantly, she must complete her 80 hours of community service, specifically assisting elderly veterans, driving them to medical appointments, helping navigate VA services, the very kind of help Mr. Martinez needed when his car was damaged. The total financial impact is $750 plus attorney fees. Total time commitment, 80 hours of service plus mandatory alcohol education. Total consequence 1 year without a license and a permanent record of contempt for attempting to call her husband in court. Diana's attorney tries to object, calling the sentence excessive. Judge Caprio silences him instantly. "Mr. Whitmore, your client drove drunk, caused significant property damage, fled the scene, threatened police officers, and then tried to call her husband in the middle of court proceedings. Every consequence she faces is proportional to her choices. As Diana is processed out, she passes Robert Martinez, who has quietly watched the hearing from the gallery. She doesn't acknowledge him or apologize, she walks past as if he's invisible. Mr. Martinez stands and addresses Judge Caprio. "Your Honor, may I say something?" "Of course, Mr. Martinez. I just want to thank you. I'm 67 years old. I served in Vietnam. I've never asked for special treatment, but I also didn't expect to be treated like I didn't matter. Mrs. Crawford hit my car and drove away as if I was nobody. Today, in your courtroom, you've shown me that I'm somebody. Thank you." Judge Caprio nods, visibly moved. "Martinez, you've always been somebody." This court just made sure Mrs. Crawford learned that. Within hours, news of the hearing spreads across Rhode Island. The audio of Diana calling her husband in court dominates local news, while Senator Crawford's statement supporting full accountability goes viral on social media. 2 days later, Senator Crawford holds a press conference. He announces he and Diana are separating. "My wife's behavior was unacceptable," he says. "Her refusal to take responsibility is unacceptable. I've spent my career fighting for ability in our justice system. I cannot maintain that integrity while staying married to someone who believes political connections can erase criminal behavior. The separation becomes a divorce within 6 months. Senator Crawford's approval ratings actually rise. Voters respect his integrity and his willingness to choose principles over personal comfort. Diana begins her community service 3 weeks later, driving elderly veterans to medical appointments. Week 1, silent and resentful. By week 5, she listens to their stories. By week 12, she is genuinely engaged, asking about their service, understanding their sacrifices. One veteran, Thomas Kim, tells her he served in Vietnam alongside a man named Martinez. Diana asks if it's Robert Martinez. It is. They served together. Diana breaks down. For the first time since the incident, she truly understands what she did. She didn't just hit a car. She disrespected a man who served his country, who sacrificed for people like her, who deserved better. She completes her 80 hours, writes sincere apology letters accepted by the court, and finishes her alcohol education program. 6 months after sentencing, she requests a meeting with Robert Martinez. They meet at a coffee shop. "I hit your car and drove away like you didn't matter," she says. "I threatened police with my husband's position. I tried to call him in court to fix it. I was wrong about all of it. I'm sorry." Robert listens, then says something that changes her forever. "Mrs. Crawford, I forgive you, but understand this. I didn't serve this country so people like you could have special privileges. I served so everyone could be equal under the law. Judge Caprio reminded you of that. Don't forget it again." 1 year after her sentencing, Diana has completed all requirements. Her license is reinstated. Her divorce is final. Her life looks completely different. She continues volunteering at the Veterans Organization, even beyond her required hours. She's learned something her political connections never taught her. Respect isn't inherited through marriage. It's earned through conduct. Subscribe for more incredible courtroom moments where political power meets accountability, and judges like Frank Caprio prove no position, no matter how powerful your spouse, places anyone above the law. Hit like if you believe calling your husband in the middle of court reveals everything about entitled thinking. Comment on whether Senator Crawford made the right choice divorcing his wife. This story isn't just about a drunk driver facing justice. It's about understanding that political marriages don't grant immunity, phone calls can't erase accountability, and some senators value integrity more than protecting spouses who break the law. Diana Crawford walked into court believing her husband's position would save her. She called him mid-hearing, expecting rescue. Instead, she heard him tell the judge to treat her like any other defendant. That call, the one she thought would fix everything, became the moment that changed her life forever. That's justice. That's integrity. That's the legacy of Judge Frank Caprio.